And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. We have some exciting news about the new ways to process within Acumatica. As you know, APS Payments is a full-service merchant provider, which also provides additional integrations to different platforms that have to do with point of sale, e-commerce, shopping carts, etc. All that will integrate with Acumatica. My name is Patty Benitez. I am, as Adrian mentioned, with APS Payments. I've been with the company for about 4 years, and let's talk about what we're going to cover today. I'd like to talk a little bit about APS in general. I really think it's important that you get to know us and you know exactly who you're working with, and the reason why APS Payments would be a good choice for you. The payment processing challenges. We actually made a list that came from merchants that have switched to APS. We kept track of what exactly they were running into as far as credit card processing issues. And I'd like to discuss that with you and also talk about how we have addressed these challenges with the key features that APS is offering fully integrated with Acumatica. I will then walk you through a software presentation. I really think that the seamless integration with Acumatica is outstanding because our goal is that you do not feel like you're stepping outside of Acumatica at all, but you're getting additional functionality. And then let's talk about the APS Payments difference. I'd like to go through a quick success story with an actual APS merchant and also an Acumatica user. After that, we can definitely talk about next steps. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is us. On the far right-hand corner, you're going to see a hot chick in a white jacket. That's me. We have our team built of everywhere from credit card processing industry experts to bankers to analysts to software developers. As I mentioned, we do provide integrations to different platforms. If, for example, you have a homegrown point of sale or e-commerce solution, talk to us about it. We have an open API, and we're definitely happy to provide you with assistance in developing an integration to our gateway. 99% of the time, there is no charge for our development costs, and typically that is justified with the volume of your account. So take a look at us, let us know if you're looking for an integration, and we'd be happy to help. We are flexible and integrated payment solutions for every business. You can see that we are proudly Acumatica certified. We're also customer validated. And just recently, we were informed that we are the credit card processor that has the largest amount of customers with Acumatica. We offer 100% PCI compliance, tokenization, click to pay for online payment, and that means that you do not have to export or import anything. Everything that is done using click to pay is out of the box from Acumatica. And of course, we have a partner-centric approach. We like to be seen as an extension of our partners' companies. If they look good, if you like what you see, we look even better. So a little bit about APS Payments. We've been in the credit card processing industry for well over a decade. We process for thousands of merchants in over 20 countries. No customer is too small or too large for us. We process for customers that have credit card transactions within the $2,000 to $20 million a month in volume. We are proudly ranked as a top 100 acquirer in the United States by the Nielsen report. And yes, I also am very proud of the fact that we've made it to the Inc. 5000 list for America's fastest growing companies 2 years in a row. As I mentioned, we have over 250 plus integrations, and they range everywhere from e-commerce to mobile solutions. One thing that I love to brag about is the fact that we offer live support. I'm underlining it because nowadays it's a luxury to speak to a live human being when you contact a support queue. Now let's talk about the payment processing challenges. As I mentioned at the beginning, this list was actually made by contacting our merchants and asking them the reasons why they're looking for other processors. Believe it or not, duplicate entry is the #1 complaint. It's impossible to try to process a transaction outside of your ERP, key it in, and not risk making mistakes. Many merchants also complained about the fact that they don't understand their current merchant statements. They don't know why they're getting the rates they're getting. If they were given a certain rate at the beginning and then the rate started creeping up, why did that happen? How did they catch it, etc. Not all merchants provide level 3 processing. I'm going to talk more in depth throughout the presentation about level 3, but just so you get an idea, level 3 will essentially cut the rates in half, sometimes even more than half, by simply providing certain data fields to Visa and MasterCard when you process a business-to-business or business-to-government transaction. And of course, this is why I like to brag about live support. Many merchants complain about the fact that they have to call for support when their point of sale transaction didn't go through, or when their credit card transaction in Acumatica is just not happening. They have to call different providers and they go to automated systems. There is really no centralized reporting or international, or the ability to process internationally. And last but not least, they would like their customers to pay when and how they'd like to pay, right? Give them the chance to pay as quickly as possible. And most processors do not offer the online payment option, believe it or not. So back in the days, and this was when I was younger, of course, and I started when I was 7, orders were being taken over the phone and you were accepting check payments. The systems were not integrated. You'd get the credit card processing form via email or fax and then process your transaction. Nowadays, everything is at your fingertips. You have multi-channel ordering, self-serve and digital payments, and the systems are integrated. Online payments are available. Everyone wants everything to be at your fingertips, and that's exactly what we're working on giving you. So with integrated payments, the benefits are tremendous. You can see reduced processing times instantly, streamlined operations. You see increased data security, improved visibility and reporting. Of course, you have better cash flow and customer experience. And then your savings with the B2B or B2G transactions through level 3, not to mention the online payments that I mentioned. Take a look at this survey, the benefits resulting from card programs, the percent of respondents citing benefits by type. Notice how reduced payment processing time was 75%. The reduced number of approvals required was lowered by 74%. These are really large numbers, and you could see on the screen, I won't read it off, but the majority of the complaints were solved by over 47%. So let's begin with trying to understand a merchant statement and understanding why you're getting the fees that you're getting from your processor. We begin with discussing the fee structure. Now, in your statements, you will notice that you're getting charged a certain rate. One of the reasons you're getting charged that rate is because of the fee structure that you agreed to accept from your processor. There are essentially 3 different types of rate structures. We have flat rate, tiered rate, and Interchange Plus. The flat rate is the most common. Most people are very comfortable with it. It's very straightforward. The reconciliation is simple. There is one fee, one flat percentage, plus a transaction fee and no other fees. So it's very simple. The bad news here is that you're not able to take advantage of the programs that are put in place by the card brands in order to lower your rates, because you agreed to a flat rate with your processor. So guess who's keeping the savings? I'll leave that question up in the air. Then you have tiered pricing. Tiered pricing offers 3 different brackets, a fully, a mid-qualified, and not qualified. 99% of the time when we analyze statements that have the tiered pricing, the transactions are not qualified. The majority of the transactions are not qualified. We always ask for the criteria behind the qualification, and the merchant never really understands it. So they're getting charged a higher rate and they don't even understand why. Then there's Interchange Plus. This is the most transparent fee structure. This fee structure allows the processor to offer the merchant the hard cost from the card brand, pass it right along, and then negotiate a transaction or a markup fee. That is it. Interchange Plus allows you to take advantage of level 3, which is the reason we highly recommend Interchange Plus. You can save up to 43%, and I've seen savings of higher than 43% simply by processing using the Interchange Plus rate structure and level 3. Now, what exactly is level 3? I mentioned to you, and for those of you that are not familiar with it, don't worry, 80% of Americans are not familiar with it. Any company based out of the U.S. that processes business-to-business or business-to-government transactions and delivers data fields that are requested by Visa and MasterCard is entitled to level 3 rates. Now, let's say the average rate is 2.65. It will instantly get lowered to 1.85 when you submit those fields and it's a business card or a government card. Average savings for an Acumatica user. Now, if you're multitasking, listen to this part alone. I won't bother you anymore. $18,000 a year. And you do not have to change your process within Acumatica. APS handles everything for you. We will submit the data fields that Visa and MasterCard require. Now, a record-breaking $400,000 a year was given to one of our Acumatica merchants just last month. $400,000 savings. It can't get any better than that. And you have to be curious. How much money are you leaving on the table? Do you want to know? Very simple. Send me your statements. I will teach you how to understand them. I will teach you about the rate structures, and I will show you exactly where the level 3 savings are hidden. These are the fields that are required for level 3 qualification. You can see it's cumbersome. Now, you don't have to worry about them. Again, we will take all of these data fields and deliver them on your behalf. Here's a sample analysis. Now, you can see it's very recent from July, and this particular merchant was processing over $400,000 a month in volume. They had a tiered structure. Take a look at all the fees. This is due to the different brackets. It's just so confusing. Now, we moved this merchant to Interchange Plus. Now, from a rate of 3.15, we lowered the rate to 0.18, and we were able to lower a lot of the fees. And then take a look at level 3 processing. All of the transactions that qualified for level 3, and we were able to get them the lower rates. We came up with a savings of over $5,000 a month. That's a 33% savings. So on a yearly basis, it's close to $65,000. Now, most of the time, we like to showcase other Acumatica solutions, or if there are any prospects on the line right now, let us help you offset the cost of the additional solutions or Acumatica in general. Let's just talk about the partners. If there are users on the line right now that require consulting time from your partner, wouldn't this be a good place to find the cost savings that will allow you to purchase additional consulting time? And you know that's always necessary. Now, remember, we were talking about the confusing statements. This is what a typical statement looks like. There's really no insight to the bank fees. Definitely no visibility to the types of cards or the rates that you're receiving from the cards. And take a look at what we like to offer. A summarized view, but on the right side, you'll see the deposits, itemized fees by card. So you'll see it's a business card. You'll see it's for example, interchange regular business and the rate. We will teach you exactly where you can verify that you're getting the accurate interchange rate directly from the card brands. And you will see that once you negotiate your additional fee with us, it's guaranteed for the life of your account. So you don't have to worry about the rates creeping up on you. Now, many people will come to us and say, I'm happy, I'm using, for example, Authorize.net out of the box with Acumatica, no issues. I have to tell you, with Authorize.net, you have to pay a setup fee. There are monthly gateway fees that exceed $25. There are batch fees, transaction fees. They do not offer level 3, do not offer click to pay. And I've heard that they have a limitation of only 10 cards per customer in Acumatica. Well, with APS Payments, you do not have any limitation as far as the cards that you have to include under each customer. There are no setup fees. Installation, implementation, training, maintenance, and support is absolutely free. You can see the gateway fee is a standard $10 across the board, doesn't increase or decrease no matter what the volume. There are no daily batch fees. Our transaction fees are similar, but we offer level 3 as well as click to pay. Additional features, you can see them on the screen. We offer integrated EMV chip readers for card-present transactions. We also offer the ERP integrations and e-commerce integrations. And now I'd like to jump right into the Click to Pay, because I think this is a program that many people can take advantage of. So Click to Pay allows you to send an invoice from Acumatica directly to your customer with the Pay Now button on the body of the invoice. And let me show you what that would look like. So your customer will receive the email with the attached invoices. When they click on the invoice, they'll be able to see a standard form. And you can customize the form, add your logo for brand recognition, and they will see this Click to Pay button. When they click on this button, they will be able to see full details regarding the invoice that they're going to pay. But let me jump into Acumatica and show you what that would look like within Acumatica. So I'm just going to recall that invoice really quick. And before I jump back and forth, let me set the scenario here. We're going to go through Acumatica, and I'm going to show you how simple it is to send the invoice out. And then we're going to step over to the customer's shoes and go through a payment so that you can see how easily your customers will be able to send you a payment. So in Acumatica, I created an invoice, very standard, straightforward. In the Actions tab, you'll be able to see two new options, Click to Pay link and Sync Click to Pay invoice. When you click on the link, you're going to see what the customer has received, right? So now let's step back over to your customer. Once they view the details regarding the invoice, they can choose to make a payment. Now, when they click on Make a Payment, they will also be able to see all of their open invoices. And you can see, for example, my transaction is $84, but maybe I'd like to pay for additional invoices. We will auto-increment the amounts due. And maybe I change my mind. I'll just pay for this invoice. I can pay a custom amount or a full amount and continue. I can pay using credit card or ACH. Now, this is entirely optional. You can turn off the ACH and allow them to pay only with credit card. And they could save a payment method for future use or use a previously saved payment method. If they decide to use the saved payment method, they will be given access to an online portal to which they could log into and always see any outstanding invoices. Now, in this case, I'm going to enter a brand new card. Notice how there are 4 fields being required, right? In my case, I only have to type in 3 fields because I've used Click to Pay in the past and the postal code is saved. I'm going to submit my card. The transaction goes through our gateway. Level 3 is also happening in the background. So if your customer is using a corporate or government card, you will receive the level 3 rate. If there were any discrepancies with the card, they will get a pop-up window indicating exactly what the discrepancy is, and they'd have to go back and fix it, or you could actually switch it so that they could click OK and continue. If the transaction went through, they will get a success notification. You can also set up the system to send an automatic receipt that looks something like this. So that's the Click to Pay functionality. Let me show you now on your customer just sent the payment. Now, how do you receive the payment? In your bankings menu, you're going to see 2 new items, Click to Pay Setup and Process Click to Pay Payments. When you go to Process Click to Pay Payments, you can manually complete the transactions, which means you're going to capture them, or you can use the automation schedule from Acumatica. So you don't have to remember to click any additional buttons in order to capture the funds. Now you can see this is clean Acumatica, plain vanilla Acumatica. We've only added the option to accept the Click to Pay payments. Now in this case, I'd like to process one of my transactions. It's very simple. I check it off and I click Process Payments. Just as you saw on the Click to Pay website for your customer, the transaction goes through our gateway. We verify everything is accurate. If the transaction goes through, you will see the green checkbox from Acumatica and know that the transaction is complete. Now, how do you verify that? You go to the receivables and payments and applications, and you're able to actually confirm the transaction has been completed. Now, you could also see the payment method that was used. So that is Click to Pay in a nutshell. Another area in Acumatica that you can also process transactions is through sales orders or invoices, and you can actually type in the credit card information. Now, if you go to your customer payment methods, you can add as many cards. Remember, I told you there are no limits. You could add as many cards per customer as you'd like. For example, a bartender has several cards on file. You can see them here. The criteria, the security settings will follow anything that you've already set up in Acumatica. You can just continue to have the security settings for credit card processing. Now notice how in this case I'm not given the option to create new, but you can definitely turn it on. You can actually create cards not only under customer payment methods, but also create the cards on the fly during sales order, invoicing, or in payments and applications. So you can choose a default credit card, and if you go to a sales order, you can actually, let's see if I didn't process one here, accept the payment right at the sales order level. It looks like this one is open. Let's work on this one. So we have a sales order that's open, and you can pre-authorize or you can capture right at the sales order level. You simply go to payment settings. The default credit card will appear on the screen, but you can always give the user the option to switch to a different card. And the user will have the option, it looks like this one was already pre-authorized, will have the option to complete the transaction right at the sales order level. Now in this case, the user did not add a shipping fee when they pre-authorized. We can always add a shipping fee at a later time or when it's time to invoice. I'm going to go ahead and invoice this sales order. And you're going to notice that, once again, it is standard Acumatica functionality that's happening in the background. I'm simply going to add a shipping fee. Now, if you're integrated to Starship, for example, you will have the shipping fee auto-populate, but you can always override and add it here. So the original ticket was $500. Let's just say it was a $100 shipping fee. And I'll save it. Now what will happen is Acumatica will update, as usual, and then we will capture the funds not only for the items, but we will also capture the shipping fee. You won't have to take any extra steps there. So it's always nice, most people are not sure what the shipping fee will be when they're processing the sales order and want to pre-authorize. You can always add that shipping fee at a later time. So now that my invoice is ready, I can go to my payment information. You're going to notice that it'll show you that it's been pre-authorized. That's why the authorization button is not there. And the amount of the transaction has been updated to $600 versus the $500. And I can now capture the funds. Capturing, pre-authorizing, it's a click of a button. The transaction goes through our gateway, and once it's complete, you'll see the green checkbox. And then once again, if you go to your payments and applications, you're going to be able to verify the transaction is complete, and you'll know exactly where it was paid, or where you applied the payment. So here's this one. So now that we've seen Acumatica in action, I'd like to just jump back and discuss additional items from our PowerPoint. Now, I had promised you that we would talk about a case study. This is an actual Acumatica user. Now, take a look at their challenges. Fast-growing, privately owned company. This is United Brokerage Packaging. They were using a credit card solution that was not integrated at all. So the manual entry, the errors, the credit card transactions had to be processed at a terminal. They had to manually key in the information. It was very time-consuming. It took them almost 20 minutes per transaction. 20 minutes per transaction. So the solution we offered automated the credit card transaction process with an integrated Acumatica. This solution is 100% PCI compliant. We leveraged level 3 processing rates for their business-to-business transactions. And we offer them the EMV chip readers for card-present transactions, eliminating the need for the double entry. Now the results. I'm not exaggerating. It was tremendous savings. Processing transactions only takes them 20 to 30 seconds versus minutes. The level 3 savings rates were 2.6, and now they're 1.6. That's a point below. And they had to do nothing out of the ordinary. They were processing through Acumatica now. They doubled receivables, but have not had to increase staff as they grew. How about that? They increased customer satisfaction with PCI compliance and now can easily use the last card on file. So I really think it's important that you understand the benefits. It's not just the cost savings, it's the time savings, security, compliance, and you get it all in one. So if you're interested, let us know. No strings attached. We are happy to provide you with the free audit of your current rates and fees. You simply submit 2 of your current merchant statements. We will analyze them and contact you, explain to you exactly where each one of the different aspects of your statement the money is going to. So we will explain where the bank makes the money, where the card brand makes the money, and where the processors make the money, including APS. So what's the worst case scenario here? You will learn how to understand your statement, and you will learn how to go back to any processor and demand the rates that you deserved, that you're entitled to. So let us know if you're interested. As I said, no strings attached. We will definitely provide the free audit. And one more thing, if we're not able to beat or match any competitors' rates and fees, we will pay you $500 for allowing us to audit your statement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a community that offers subject lessons from subject matter experts that have extensions to Acumatica. Now, we know how powerful Acumatica is, but many times we get asked by merchants, do you know of an EDI solution? Do you know of a data analytics? I'm looking for additional functionality when it comes to inventory. Well, we've created a group that will offer you free lessons on these extended solutions. Simply go to acu-connect.com and sign up. You will be receiving free information, and you will be provided with free one-on-one presentations whenever needed. And ladies and gentlemen, for everyone that has any additional questions, or if you'd like to email those statements, I will be waiting and get back to you this week with the analysis. This is my contact information on the screen.